Am I guilty for kicking out my mom's boyfriend? When I was 17, my mom came into money. She tried to keep it quiet, but she paid off my dad's debts, bought him a small house, paid off her debts and paid for my sister's college and set up funds for mine. She had a boyfriend at the time, and shortly after him and his son, who was 7, moved into our new house. Over the next few years, Mom bought my sister a house after she graduated college. Her boyfriend lived with us and didn't pay anything, but he did work. When I was 21, Mom got diagnosed with cancer. It wasn't good. She sat me and my sister down and went over exactly how much money there was. She intended to give her current house to me, and both me and my sister were left with a large sum at the end of it. She asked if I would allow her boyfriend to stay in the house with his son until he got his own place. And I agreed. Before she died, she told her boyfriend he would need to look for his own place but had time to save more for that journey. For the last 4 years, he has continued to reside in the house with his son. I haven't minded because we get along okay. I pay all the bills, but he does buy food for him and his kid. He has dated off and on and mostly kept the women out of this house, which I respected him for. Until his current partner. She's been in my house 3 times, and at first, besides feeling a little uncomfortable, I was okay with her. The last time this past weekend was the point where I lost my shit. I was making myself some lunch when she came walking downstairs. She grabbed a plate and went to grab food out of my pan. I asked her what she thought she was doing. She started telling me how I should look for somewhere else to live, and leeching off my dead mom's past relationship as an adult was pathetic. I hollered for my mom's old boyfriend. He came down and I told him I didn't know what he current thing thought, but I wasn't going to be disrespected in my house. He wouldn't even look me in the eyes as he mumbled something about my mom promising him the house, and he was just being kind, letting me stay. First, that isn't remotely true. Mom pulled him and I together after she asked if he could stay to set expectations. My mom met him shortly before she won the money and told him and us girls that she had no intention of leaving him money. She did set aside a fund for his son for college when he gets there, but he cannot touch it. Only his son can. He has lived in this house almost 8 years without paying a dime. He should have plenty of money, and if he doesn't, that's on him. I told him he had 30 days to leave. I wasn't going to house someone who would lie and disrespect me in my house. He left that night with his son, but his ex-wife called to tell me I am cruel and an ass for her son losing his house. He is here every other week. I really feel like my mom didn't expect him to still be here, but my sister said she feels like I am breaking my promise to my mom, and that made me feel like maybe I am the guilty one. And now, let's listen to some comment before I give you the updates. A comment from Good Advice Gay. Not guilty. The critical part here is that your mom asked you to let him stay until he got his own place and to give him time to find one. In that time, instead of looking to move somewhere else, he continued to settle into life in the house, to the point where he even started bringing a new girlfriend along. He moved on but didn't move out. Him lying to her and telling her this was his house tells you everything you need to know about his actual intentions to leave. You kicking him out wasn't abrupt. The clock had run out on your mother's kindness and your obligation to her a long time ago, and he was living there on generously borrowed time. A comment from Curious Brad 9191. If it happened exactly as you said, you're not guilty. If she did say he had time to save, but would need to look for his own place, that means she never imagined or wanted him staying for long. So you're breaking no promises. Did she leave him any money or assets? It's totally possible that your mother would be livid if she knew her boyfriend was still living with her son after 4 years. The response from the author. No, she created a fund for his son for his college, but that was the only money set aside for him or his son. It's a generous amount. Enough for 4 years at a high-dollar school. Anything not used for school will be given to him on his 25th birthday, from what I believe she told me. A lawyer and accountant are in charge of those funds, not me or my sister, so I only know what she told us before she died. She was never married, or even engaged to her boyfriend. He lived with his sister and was saving for his own house when Mom met him. Him moving in with us was supposed to be temporary and allow him to save to buy his dream home, but he never left. My mom was like that though, she had a big heart and sometimes people took advantage of that, especially after the money. She bought him a brand new truck when his car broke down, but beyond that and smaller gifts, like TV, computer, etc. for birthdays and holiday gifts, she did not leave him money. They had no joint accounts. My mom paid everything and he was supposed to be saving for a house the whole time they were together. A comment from Trouble Walkin'. Guessing to the Miss Thangs, over the years he's lived rent and utility free in your house. I'm also giving the stink eye to the sister laying the guilt trip on you for evicting him. The response from the author. I don't think my sister meant any harm. Probably feels a little sad like me that his son won't be around. I don't expect we will get to visit with the kid, he's 15. And we both like him and have known him a while. The three of us gamed together some over the years and usually did an outing once every month or two to arcades or amusement parks or something like that together. A comment from Wide Lengthiness. Was his girlfriend shocked and believed him, or was she trying to start the takeover, or at least try to? It's possible he lied to her, but it's also possible she knew but was wanting to come in and take over. It happens all the time. I would hire movers if they left anything. Do not let them back in, it could be hell getting them out. Lucky they left. The response from the author. She seemed smug the whole time, so I suspect she put him up to it because he and I always got along before this. He didn't argue when I kicked him out. He texted me and asked to come by this weekend to get his stuff and asked if I would be willing to talk. I told him my dad and boyfriend will be here and he agreed to that. Last comment before the update. Crimson Baby. How did his girlfriend react when she realized he lied? I would have liked to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. The response from the author. She sat with her arms crossed when he and I talked, but she didn't say anything else. She left with him. Now for the first update. Am I guilty for kicking out my mom's boyfriend? I do want to take a moment to address some things I saw in the comments. 1. There are trusts set up, and neither me nor my sister has full access to the money left for us. This was done both because my sister and I were in our early 20s when my mom died, and she wanted to make sure we had some stability before we had access and to protect us from people who may try to take advantage, especially while we were grieving. 2. I have a lawyer. He has already informed me legally in my area what eviction laws are, and my mom's former boyfriend will be served with formal eviction papers just to cover myself even after today. So to the update. My dad came over this morning and brought along my cousin. I decided not to have my boyfriend over since he doesn't know about the money side. For easier telling, I'm going to call mom's former boyfriend Chris. Chris showed up about 10 a.m. and talked to my dad, then asked if he could have a couple minutes alone with me. Dad nodded, so my cousin and him went into the kitchen and Chris and I sat in the living room. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to go as it had, but I am glad it did. Chris started with an apology. I don't remember all of the words said, but the basics were he missed my mom. He has been lonely but not alone thanks to me and his son. He was sorry for what had happened, that he got caught up in lust and let someone else fill his head with ideas, and that he owned up to his mistakes and should have never put up with someone who would disrespect me or my mom's memory. He tried to hand me a cashier's check for $15,000. He said it wasn't much, but he wanted me to know he appreciated me and living with me and that he wanted to pay back some of what he owed. I refused the check, both in part because I never wanted his money, but I also don't want to give any possible legal leg for him to stand on if this is somehow him trying to stay. I told him the first part and told him to put it towards a house. He told me he is living with his sister but is going to look at houses with a realtor next week. He did say his son is asking about our next hangout date and said both me and my sister are welcome to arrange time with him. After all of that, my dad and cousin helped him get all the stuff out of the house that he owned. He had brought a U-Haul. And he gave me back my house keys. He apologized again and left. Not what I expected. But it went really well and I feel a lot less like I let my mom down. Now let's go straight to the second and last update. Am I guilty for kicking out my mom's boyfriend? This is probably going to be my last update unless something unexpected happens, but I thought I would just give a quick update on Chris. So Chris called me last week and again yesterday. He put an offer on a house and yesterday got accepted. They expect the closing date to be early next month, but I am very proud of him. I know everyone expected more drama, and honestly some of the comments had me worried. but it's been really good. He thanked me a lot for letting him have so much time here. Offered me some money one more time for his time here, which I again declined, but I did offer to help him move in when the time comes. Moving sucks. He put down almost half for a down payment, so he definitely was saving money during his time here, and I'm glad everything that happened was an encouragement for him to get into a home of his own. I talked to his son yesterday after he got out of school. We are going to play laser tag this weekend with my sister, and he is excited for the new house too. A general message from the community. Glad it all worked out. Thank you for listening to this story. Let me know in the comments if you agree with the community. What would you have done in that situation? And for those who stayed to the end, thank you. If you like this type of content, feel free to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. See you soon.